Good morning. How are you guys? So, if you have not already looked at part one about make this your best year ever, if it is the middle of February or the middle of July when you're looking at this, don't worry. It doesn't matter when you start your year or you start your quarter. You can start setting goals at any time. You get to choose. So, like I said, if you haven't already seen part one about this, how to make this your best year ever, go back and have a look in the video section of my Facebook page and grab the free download so you can work along and watch it and then join me here. If you are just watching now, that's fine. We can pick up here as well. I do have another free download for you if you get a chance. I recommend grabbing it right now. I'm going to walk through. It's a free PDF that I've created. It just puts everything for you in one spot so that you can take your goals and make them real. You know, for me, it's all fine to be dreaming and thinking about how great your goals are going to be, how life is going to be like, but it's only in the actually taking that dream and then taking practical day-to-day action that it's really going to make any difference for you. So let's dive in. If you haven't already grabbed your handout, download it. You got the link over here in the description of the video and follow along. So I'm going to be talking to you from my handy dandy notes, and I am going to be showing you how I create something like this. This is the first download. You can grab that as well. And I think what I'll do is after this video is done, I'll put this in the comments below. So you'll be able to get both downloads and a link to that previous video just to try and make your life easy. Anyway, I think I better do this with my glasses on. Okay, so what we're talking about is goal setting, goal achieving. And it is January 8th, 2019 when I'm filming this, but lots of you guys maybe haven't set goals yet for the year. Some of you may have. This might be a way that you can take those goals and make them come true, make them actionable, make them so that no matter what happens in your life, you'll know that you're on track and that you're going to make the goals inevitable. As I said earlier, the goals only matter if you actually do something. You can learn all the things you want, you can feel how you want to feel, but if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen for you. So what we're talking about is we're going to say, I'm going to make the assumption that you have a goal that you really want to achieve. I'm going to use a one-year plan. That is, the idea is you can translate it into any way you want. I know you guys are smart. I know you guys can take a goal, you can make it a quarterly goal, you can make it a monthly goal, you can make it an annual goal. It doesn't matter what you do, you choose. But I'm going to be talking about this from an annual plan. So grab that download, and the first thing that you're going to see is you're going to see on this sheet a space for you to capture 3 goals. They will always be SMART goals that we're working towards. And so for those of you that are familiar with a SMART goal, it normally stands for specific, measurable, action-oriented, results, and time-bound. So glad to see you guys joining. Good morning, Rhonda. So nice to see you here. So that's the regular SMART goals. I also love to talk about evolved SMART goals. Now, I'm doing this from memory, so if my words aren't right, forgive me. When I talk about evolved SMART goals, I'm talking about all those standard SMART goal criteria as well. But I'm also wanting to know how you're going to feel, what's going to motivate you. So, and I may have to come back to this because I might have had just like a brain whatever. And I might do another quick video on this afterwards so that we'll just dive into that later. Because I did promise you guys in my email that this would be short and sweet and to the point. So let's say you've got one SMART goal, and I've made a mental note that I'm going to do another quick video on SMART goals as well. So you've got one SMART goal, and you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. We're only going to talk about the one goal today. I'm going to rattle through a bit of an example for you as well so that you can see it in action. The questions are, what will achieving this goal give you? So this is when maybe it's a great thing for you to do early in the morning when you're sitting with your first cup of coffee and the house is quiet. You can give some good quiet thought to this. What is this goal going to do for you? The second question is, how will you feel when you achieve this goal? And that feel is in capital letters, bold, underlined. The big focus of that sentence and that question is the word feel. How will you feel? Because that feeling that you're after is really the reason for the goal. Every goal that we have in our life, we've got that dream because we think it's going to improve our lives. We think that it's going to make us feel something different. So what is that feeling for you? How are you going to feel? And the third question that you're going to ask yourself for this particular goal is, why is it important to you? What impact do you want to have? What about this goal makes it so important? So only you will know the answer to your questions. And again, I recommend you guys just take a little bit of quiet time when you've got not the house isn't going crazy, there's not all kinds of commotion going on, there's not the kids, jumping on your lap and wanting to know what's for breakfast. A little bit of quiet time just for you to really get in touch with that goal and why it means so much to you. Being really in touch with that feeling of what it's going to be like when you achieve it and understanding why it's important to you is going to help you stay motivated when things don't go as planned. Every single goal that you want to achieve is going to be a stretch. And anytime we stretch, we're going to run up against fear, we're going to stumble, we're going to make mistakes. And all of those things are happening because you get to grow. So when you think about that, anytime you're learning something new, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to feel kind of uneasy at times. Being in touch with why it's important to you and what it's going to give you is going to help you come back and stay motivated to move forward. So now that you're in that space where you're really in touch with the why you want to achieve that goal, now go to the place where the goal is already complete. So maybe it's, as I said, for this example, we're going to be talking about a year from now. So January 9th, 2020, when this goal is complete. Think about that. Think about it's already done. You've learned everything you needed to learn. You're now in the place where you're looking at that goal that you wrote this time last year and it's complete. So now what? Now you're going to flip to the second page of the handout and you're going to do a complete brain dump. What is everything that you did? Remember, you're going to be in that place where your goal is already achieved. What is everything that you did to make that goal happen? Every single step, no filter, no nothing. Maybe you needed to take a class. Maybe you needed to practice with your husband. Maybe you needed to practice something new. Maybe you needed to read a few books. Maybe you needed to write something for yourself every day. Maybe you needed to learn a new technique or a new skill or a new tool. Every single thing that you can think of, nothing is too big, nothing is too small, because every one of those pieces needed to happen to make that goal come true. So remember, you're in that place where the goal that you've dreamed of, that you're looking for, is already achieved. And you're going to be saying to yourself, what did I have to do to make this happen? Because now you already know. You've already achieved it in your imagination. You can lean on the knowing that you have of all of the things that you need to learn, the things that you need to, how you need to be, how you need to show up every day to make that happen. I really recommend that you do this brain dump over a span of a couple of days. The first day that you do it, you're going to have all kinds of ideas, and then you're going to be done. You're going to come up dry. You're going to think, okay, that's it. And then if you just let it percolate in the back of your mind as you go about your day, you're going to think of a few more things. As those things come to you, write them on this list as well. Keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. And don't even worry if sometimes maybe you're repeating something that you've already added. It's all part of the process. Then, 24 hours from now, go back to this place again, this place where the goal is already complete. And then do another brain dump and see how you do. What else did you come up with? So don't rush this. You're going to be putting a lot of effort into reaching this goal. You're going to be putting a lot of heart and soul into getting to this goal. So don't rush this part of it. This is all part of, like, if we're making a cake, this is all part of gathering all those ingredients together to make sure that your cake is going to turn out just right. So now you're going to move to the next step. And if you are using this video as a little mini training, which is what I'm intending it to be, go ahead and pause this video if you're watching the replay. When you're done doing that complete brain dump of every single little thing, big and small, that you have to do, then pause the video. And the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a different colored pen. In my case, I happen to like this blue pen that I've got. And you're going to take this big, long list of things, and you're going to, again, working from the end in mind, you're going to start to number them. What do I have to do first? What do I have to do second? What do I have to do third? I always find it most helpful to work backwards. If I know that I want to, for instance, I've just recently self-published a book. So if I know that I want to publish that book, what did I have to do just before I hit publish? Well, I needed to make sure that maybe my cover for my book was right. And just before that, what did I need to do? Well, if I'm only talking about the cover, I needed to come up with somebody who's going to create the cover for me. And I had to look at a bunch of proofs of that cover, different ideas that they came up where they're trying to capture my thoughts. So working from the end backwards, what are all the things that you have to do? Take your pen and your giant list of things that you're thinking of and start to number them in order. And don't worry that if you get kind of muddled with this and you start with numbering them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you realize, oh gosh, there's 5 steps that have to happen between 4 and 5. Make your own, my brain is not thinking of the right word, but make your own criteria. Maybe if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you realize that there's 4 steps that need to happen between 4 and 5, make one 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D. This is up to you. This is just so that you can start to see all those pieces and you can start to think about, so if I want this to happen, what did I need to do before that? And then what did I need to do just before that? And just before that? And work your way back so that you now have a long train of to-dos to get you to that end in mind. So now you're going to number all those things. And again, if you're working along with me using this as a mini training, this is another great place for you to pause the video. Now, what I would do next is I would take my brain dump list with all these items and all these numbers, and I'm going to write them on. There's a sheet on the handout for you where you're just going to write them in order. There's columns and columns and columns for you to write. So you're just going to go, okay, well, number 1 is, you're going to write that. Number 2 is, you're going to write that. And you're going to go through. And I know that at this point, it might feel like you're not making progress on the goal, but just like any big project that you work at in your life, you've got to come up with a good plan to make that goal happen. So even though you might feel like, oh, I could be doing this and I could be doing that and I could be doing this, you might be wasting your energy and self-sabotaging your actual achieving the goal. So this time that you spend now doing the planning, creating your action plan, and making it a schedule for yourself is going to make it the easiest, the most efficient way for you to eventually get to your goal. Okay, so next you've got your goal. You're in touch with why. You've gone to that place where it's already happened and you've done a complete brain dump of everything, large and small, that you might need to do to get that goal to happen. Then you took a different colored pen and you numbered everything in order. I recommend working from the back forward. What's the end goal that you want to achieve? What's the one thing just before that that you need to do? And just before that, and just before that. Once you're at that stage, you're going to take that list. It's going to look crazy, like a million different things on it, and you're going to write it out in order. And now you're almost done. Now you're almost at the point where you're ready to go. What happens next? So what happens next is you take, I like to work in paper and pen because it makes sense for me. I'm a visual person, and then I can move things around. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a calendar, a month at a glance calendar, and you're going to say, okay, I want to achieve this goal. And for me, this goal maybe is March 4th. And I've got my list. Now all I need to do is I need to write the things from my list on my calendar. So the question that you've got two questions to ask yourself here. The end goal date in this particular example is March the 4th. What's the thing that I need to do just before that to make it happen? Well, whatever that may be. How long is it going to take me to do that step? So if you know that March the 4th is the day that you're going to be finished, and the very, very, very last thing is going to take you 2 days, you're going to write March the 2nd, start the last task. And that allows you 2 days to get that complete. So what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with a calendar that's filled with tasks. So maybe you've got a task that's only a 1-day task and you're going to put it here. Maybe you've got a task, let me just see here if I can point this to you. In this case, I had a task that was going to take me 10 days. So I wrote it in here, and then I highlighted that it was going to start here and end here. So anytime I was working on my goal, it was super easy for me to grab my paper calendar and say, am I on track? Am I behind? Am I ahead? Am I okay? Am I still in that place to reach my goal? Now listen, when you're doing this calendar, it's going to look kind of mucky at first, and you can take time and make it attractive, make it pretty over time. Once you've got everything in there and you know that this is actually a schedule you can work at. And I also want to remind you that life happens. So when you're creating this calendar, don't squish everything too tightly together. Somebody's going to get the flu. Maybe you get to go on vacation, right? You're going to do all different things. You've still got life going on while you're reaching your goal. So don't take 10 activities and try and squish them so tightly together that you're really not able to get them done. Because what happens when your little one needs to stay home from school for a day or two? It's going to throw your plan completely off, and you're going to feel like a failure. But you don't need to be like that. You could make sure that you have space in your plan so that you're kind and compassionate with yourself and really supporting yourself in everything that you need to do to get to that goal. So let me just check my little list here. I got a bunch of different things. Last thing, you now have a calendar that is filled with activities that is going to take you to your goal. You're going to find that you may not have done it perfectly the first time, and that's okay. If this is a goal worth doing, it's a goal worth planning it well, because you owe it to yourself to plan it well. And what I mean by it might not go perfectly is you might realize that maybe in the case of an annual goal, you might have realized you've written in all these activities for a full year. You've got too many activities. You don't have enough days to get all that done. You may realize that it's unreasonable that goal is going to happen in a year. So first, don't freak out. Just don't freak out on me. If you find that you've got too many things to get done and you're not going to be there at the end of the year, here's your chance to rework your plan. You already know what you want. You already know why you want it and why it's important to you. You already know everything you need to do to get there. give yourself a little bit more time. Does it really matter if you had a goal for a full year and you realize that you need 15 months to do it so that you can actually really accomplish it? In the scheme of your life, giving yourself 15 months to do it and achieve it is going to be way more realistic and way more satisfying than trying to squish in 15 months worth of things into 12 months. If you are using the 12-month plan and you're trying to squish too much stuff in there, you're never going to achieve it. It's never going to give you that feeling that you wanted to achieve. You're never going to feel empowered. You're never going to feel proud of yourself. You're never going to feel courageous. You're never going to feel like, you know what? I did that. I wanted to do it and I did it. So if you look at your calendar and you've written everything in there and you realize that your goal is unrealistic, you got a choice. Give yourself more time to get it done. The other option is to make your goal a little bit smaller. Only you're going to know which is right for you. So where am I at now? I wanted to talk about that. Let me look at my notes here. You guys know that this is like sitting in the kitchen with me while I train you, right? I'm not going to be super formal. You're never going to find me super formal because then you won't see my process of learning and how I teach things either. All right, where are we at? Ah, yes, the very last thing. So now you finally have this place. You've got a calendar with tasks written in. Maybe that task takes one day, maybe another task takes a week. You've got it written in. It's reasonable. It's something that's achievable. It's inspiring. It's going to be thrilling for you to get closer and closer to that goal. Last little thing that I like to do is I use this as my to-do list. So if I know that I'm working on a big project, for instance, as I told you, I've recently self-published a book. Or for those of you who know me, I'm working on creating a digital course that's going to help coaches create businesses for themselves. It's a big project for me. It's something I've never done before. So I'm learning as I go. But when I look at my calendar, I know if I'm on track. And every time something's complete, I give myself a little highlight. Okay, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. So I get that little hit. I'm making progress. I'm feeling good about myself. I know that I'm getting traction. I know I'm overcoming my fears as I reach my goal. And as time goes on, you'll have maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 pages that are going to be filled with notes to yourself, filled with check, I've done that. So the next time that you come up on something on your path to achieving this goal and you start to feel nervous and start to wonder, ooh, is this going to work? Can I do this? Will I do this? You can look back on those previous pages and see all those places where you probably had a fear and you did it. And it just reassures you that it's normal to feel nervous. It's normal to feel scared as you're stretching and reaching your goal. And you can overcome it and you can reach your goal. So hopefully you guys have found this helpful. And if you haven't already, grab that download. As I said earlier, I'll be popping a comment in on this video with this is part 2 with the part 1 download and a link to the other video just to make your life a little bit easier. I'm so pleased that you joined me for this live. And if you're catching the replay, I hope you're enjoying it as well. Have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.